let him get the good evening. Tonight we're going to be having a special, wait a minute. Continuation. It's a continuation of a public hearing for Spring Commons, which is a subdivision off of Spring Street. I'll start out by introducing the board. On my right is James Noyes. On my left is Jerry Stetson. Donna Carter is our recording secretary, and Tracy Aldrich is our town planner. And I'm Hugh Hurley, the chairman. We had some questions, and the plans have been updated, and somebody from the CEC Engineering will be making a presentation.
I think he wants to.
Should I pull that up here, or you want me to go back there?
Actually, yeah, you can use it right there, probably just as easy.
So Chris apologizes, he can't be here, he's on vacation. But I have a list of comments that we needed to address based on the last meeting. So if you guys don't mind, I'll just run through and show you on the plan. The first one was being that some of the common areas within the subdivision, you guys were looking for some easements on some of the common infrastructure. So first off, we added a slope easement to the 2-to-1 area in this portion of the subdivision here. We also, there used to be parcel B here in the middle. That was due to confusion of the interpretation of the bylaw. Chris thought that there's something in there that says 90% upland, and he thought that that number was of the total area of the lot, but it's actually of the 30,000, the minimum requirement in the bylaw. So he rearranged these, and he just combined the parcel B that was in the middle. He split it up between lots 4 and 5. We also added riprap in this 2-to-1 slope here. Let me just show you on that sheet. So we added riprap to the 2-to-1 slope per James's recommendation. Another spot where we added an easement is this retaining wall here, in case it needs maintenance. Let's show you on that sheet as well. Wall easement, and it incorporates all the area needed for maintenance there. The next thing we did was the sidewalk. I believe that in the previous iteration it terminated at lot 3, so it didn't have access to lot 2. So we just extended that to the driveway of lot 2 so that all the lots can be serviced by the sidewalk.
Does it have a handicap slope at the end of it?
Yes, proposed ADA compliant ramp at the end of the sidewalk.
Okay, can't enter into a driveway. So it should be angled, like right before you hit the driveway.
It should be angled to
that
the
way,
street.
Yeah. I don't know if that looks like it's the paths going into the driveway.
I think it's just a pictorial, like because of the scale. I don't think he attempted to show it in detail, but we have a detail in the sheet, the back sheets.
But it should extend to the driveway.
It should extend to the driveway.
Because you don't want somebody to have to go out into the street to come around to get into his own driveway.
Right, yeah, it should go to the driveway, but right before the
But the
driveway.
ramp should be out into the street.
Yeah, there's a landing. I think that's where he put the strip. There's going to be a landing that's flush with the driveway before it comes up.
Okay.
So it's not like a ramp right off the driveway. Next we have the slope granite detail. I think you guys were concerned about the reveal. So Chris upped it to 6 inches. It's on page
What was the page?
C800. I think it's the first detail page. It's up here in the top right. Yeah.
I got it.
So not only did he increase the reveal to 6 inches, but he also included the big comp pavement comes right up to it, and then this concrete envelopment, I believe in the last iteration, was just behind it. So he incorporated it around the whole front and the lip so that it's not going to go anywhere if it gets bumped by a plow or gets touched by a vehicle. So on C300, I think you guys were looking for a tree list of like specific species for the trees, street trees rather. So we've incorporated that. This table up here shows all the different species of trees.
Did he run these species by the tree warden?
I could not speak to that, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if Chris talked to the tree warden or not. I know that in this planning, he consulted a third-party landscape architect that has wetland experience, and they designed a whole restoration plan for the Concom. I think they were involved in picking the species of the street trees as well.
Well, the tree warden is also the conservation agent, so,
Okay.
We probably will be okay, but we'll still ask him just to make sure that he's happy.
Okay, cool. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, the roadway crossing on sheet C800. Sorry to flip back and forth. So there was a question about the material of pipe used for the water main. So we just added a note. I believe it's right here. 8-inch ductile iron class 52. And then one of the notes on sheet C200, I think it speaks to the HOA, and I believe that wording came right from you, Hugh, I think. I saw that in email, I believe. And that's here.
Which is 200. Okay.
So Chris also wanted me to add that he had that restoration plan done by Crawford Land Management. This was shown to the Conservation Commission last night, and they were happy with it. They continued this because we didn't have the septic plans in hand last night. But other than that, they were happy with everything we corrected on the plans for them. And then he also wanted me to mention that the rock wall at the end of the street is being designed by SFC Engineering.
Where is this now?
Rock wall at the end of the street. So that's the detail. And the wall is here.
Okay. And it was, and it's on, what sheet is it on?
This one is on C300, and then the detail for it is on S1 at the end.
How high is that wall?
At its highest, it is 4.5 feet tall. Or sorry, 6 feet tall. It's max.
From the ground elevation, or is that? So it's 6 feet from, it's resting on the ground. There's no-
It's the ground's flush
Not embedded.
flush with the top of the wall.
Yeah, down at the bottom though, too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this would be the ground level at the bottom of the wall. Down here. This is just two separate sections for a 6 foot and a 4.5 foot. It steps down from, I believe the outsides are the tallest and the middle is shorter.
Yeah, I think anything higher than 4 feet has to be.
Yeah, structural engineer.
Yeah.
So that's why we contacted them to give us this. It's got all the structural criteria within their notes and stuff.
Yeah, and that all that have to be run by the building inspector anyway, so. Before I forget it, I think it's sheet C800, going with a crosswalk striping. I can't tell you what ones you've been using lately off the top of my head, but it's the ladder type.
So you're saying versus the oblique angle here?
Yeah.
You're saying they use a perpendicular
Yeah, and I
line?
want to say they're like 24 inches wide, but I'm not certain. They've just restriped down on River Street. You go out of here and go straight, you'll see the striping down there.
Okay.
That's what they've been doing lately, but they got a new DPW guy too, so he may change it, but, yeah, just, maybe just add a note or show the ladder type and just, before marking, contractor shall confirm with the West Bridgewater DPW, for latest design.
Okay. I think that was the extent of the comments from the letter. Let me just double check when I got everything. Yep, that's all I had.
Okay, why don't I turn to the profile sheet, C600. There.
Mm-hmm.
You have your pipe coming up and sometimes you loop it up there. What's the coverage from there to there? How deep is that water main?
This says 4 feet here,
Well, it says 4 feet to
the
the,
bottom of the force main.
yeah, and this is well above it.
I could bust out my scale for you. It doesn't seem to have a dimension right there.
Well, actually, it does right there, so it's 3 feet.
That's the crown of the force main.
Yeah, but, yeah, that's the crown, but when you slide down,
They meet right here. Is that what you're saying?
it appears to be,
Yeah, so if your concern was minimum cover for that,
well, I'm concerned if it's only 3 feet there.
so
And I'm concerned with any water laterals that may be, are they all going to be higher?
there wouldn't be I don't think there would be a water lateral at that point. The lateral for lot 5 would come off at station 200. And the next house that would need a water lateral would be at station 600. So between here and here, there aren't any water laterals proposed. And I believe in the areas where the laterals would go, we've made sure that we have plenty of cover. It looks like that might be 5 feet minimum. Yeah, this note here depicts 5 feet minimum. And I believe from that point down for the rest of the neighborhood, it's 5 feet. And it looks to be here before the hump as well, where 200 would come out.
And so there's a note here. It's saying that it's all the 8-inch water main above the Lot 5 sewer lateral, and that's where it comes to within 3 feet of the surface.
Above the lateral? The sewer lateral? Thought they're supposed to have a distance.
So the pipe, the water main is
Above the sewer.
above the sewer.
But they're supposed to be away from each other, right? Not on top
Yeah,
of each
but they can cross, but
If they cross, you're supposed to have water above sewer. And if for some reason you had to have sewer above water, you have to encase the sewer pipe in concrete.
But the fact that the main is brought to within, it appears to be 3 feet. If you look at the dimension next to it, I'm just wondering. In fact, this is the first I noticed that I was kind of concerned with something with the, with the sewer, and so I started looking at this. This is the first one I saw, and I don't know whether there's any others, but I think you've got to do something there.
What is the concern with the 3 foot cover at this point? Freezing?
That's why they have a
I mean,
5 foot
that's-
cover.
Water department's not gonna allow that.
No, he isn't, is he?
No, he isn't.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what the design intent was there, but
In fact, while we're at it, how is the sewer going to be working? What is the
Pump station?
what
Is
is
it
it?
gravity fed?
Could you explain to us how it's going to be working?
so I am less familiar with the septic design here, but yeah, I think I'd like to defer this to Chris just because I don't want to pretend I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, I'm just covering for him for vacation. I could sit here and go through it.
But-
It would take me a minute to catch up.
Why don't you?
From what I understood, the Board of Health has reviewed the septic system. They've given us comments. We've responded to those comments. And then this morning, we got an email from the Board of Health saying that he neglected to pass on the revised plans to the peer reviewer. So those just got to him today. But he said that, Chris told me that in the last review, there weren't any major concerns about the septic, and they were all minor, kind of drafting changes and stuff that
Okay.
they had to change.
With that in mind, and I was talking to the Board of Health agent, so I knew that it hadn't, the final one hadn't gone up. Why don't you, I just noticed that one and trying to see how it was going, but ask him to review that again, and of course he's got to answer to the peer review.
Do you have specific concerns about the septic, or are you just trying to wrap
No,
around?
I'm just trying to get get a handle on it. And in so doing, I notice the coverage
So it looks like the pump chamber is
down there in the corner.
right here, this one. So everything's gravity to there, and then it comes out as a force main down, back down. I don't want to speak to the septic, just because I wasn't involved in the design. I had a little bit to do with the drainage, so I'm familiar with that and the wetland restoration, but I'll let Chris speak to the septic.
Okay. I think,
These were submitted to the water department, right? The plans were submitted to the water department?
everybody should have got one.
Yeah. I just didn't know if they had comments on the cover.
I don't think we ever got any comment. I think Chris also went and talked to the superintendent. I think that was my understanding. Okay.
Yeah, I just know, I mean, you can insulate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of underground insulation, but, or above ground, but.
Yeah. Let's,
Yeah, I mean, if the board has a suggestion, we'd be.
Well, that's why I was leaving it up for
Yeah,
the water
talk to the water
department.
department.
yeah, in insulation on existing things you're trying to do, but when you're starting all brand new construction, putting insulation. Well, let's see what he comes up with.
Okay.
And, Tracy, that was all our concerns, wasn't it, on this, from before?
I believe so. Other than the conditions that we'd be looking to put.
Okay, in fact, let's discuss the conditions. We were proposing
Go ahead.
that the conditions, if this is approved, is number one, retaining wall design shall be submitted to the building department. Number two, the slope granite shall be, which has already been, so that doesn't need to be a condition because it's already been done. Compaction test shall be formed by a geotech engineer prior to paving. And that'll be also handed through the planning board, and our review engineer, Mr. Brennan, will, I'm not sure whether he is, but if he isn't a geotech engineer, he will find somebody that he's comfortable with to do the soil testing. Material source sheets shall be submitted for review by the board's engineer before soil is brought on site. One of the things is there's a lot of garbage fill floating around today. It's rubbish fill, it's junk. And we had one a few years ago where they got some contaminated soils and they had to go back in and clean it all out, so we'd rather have it tested beforehand. Number five, applicant to provide an as-built plan for street exceptions upon completion, which is just typical, everything. Plan easements shall be included on applicable deeds, so we'll need those to be also prepared. And I think that was it for the conditions, wasn't it?
And the HOA documentation.
Oh, yes. The homeowners association shall be submitted to the planning board for review, and we'll probably send it out to our town council for review.
Okay. Duly noted.
Okay. Where are we time-wise on this? We're going to need, I think we're going to need a continuation, aren't we? Request for continuation.
Yes, so you could vote on it this evening, and then I
Okay.
can send you the form to fill out.
Okay, yeah. Mr. Peters isn't here, is he?
You're gonna vote on it tonight, you said?
Well, we're gonna need a request for a continuation.
Okay, and that's the form.
Yeah, actually, I think I have it with me, I can give it to you, and if you want to do it right now, we can do that. Just when the board determines what date they want to continue it to. we can-
When is the next meeting? I'm not even
2
sure.
weeks.
Um,
What is,
21st.
Okay.
we got a lot coming up on it.
21st, I believe, is full.
Yeah, it is, because it's gonna be even fuller because we've got a couple of public hearings that aren't gonna be held tonight.
so if,
Why do we go for the first one in September?
Not gonna be here.
Not gonna be here.
so I know we were trying to get Concom on the 28th, and then, or maybe that's the 3rd.
Conservation Commission's on the 3rd.
Yes, so I think we
Board
wanted,
of Health is on the 28th, like I told you last night.
yes. So is there any way we could get on the agenda for the 21st?
I think we're gonna be so full,
Okay.
because we've got the Shell, we've got 2 Manley Streets. We got a lot going on that night.
Okay, so the next meeting would be the 4th.
Yes. Actually, we only need 3 votes on this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as long as Tony's here on the floor.
Find out what's going on. If not, why don't we continue it, give us, not to the 4th, but to the next one. We'll schedule you for the 4th. That way we're covered. You don't have to come running back in. Makes
Just to
sense?
Yes, as long as it would have to be unanimous if there's 3 on the floor.
Right.
So do you want to put a continuance to the 18th?
Yes,
And
but we will
but
schedule
we'll
it
be
to
able
the,
But we'll schedule it for the 4th?
for the 4th.
And then
And-
continue
And
it
then what's the time limit? Another 30 days for the,
for the action.
For the
after it's
action.
approved. So, but you'll, so on the 4th, if you need to, you'll take a vote to continue it again.
So you want a motion for what?
yes.
For
Did
the
you-
for the
just-
18th, continuation to the 18th or to the 4th?
Continuation to the 18th, and we will, the request for the continuation will be to the 18th, but we will hold the hearing on the 4th.
So moved.
So, I'm sorry, now I'm confused. So so it has to be the day that you continue it to. And then I would recommend doing it until the 4th. And then at the 4th, if you need to continue it again, continue it again.
Okay, all right, we can do that.
Move to continue it to the 4th.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Could you tell who you are, Father?
Christine Morgan, 32 Harvest Road. What ended up with, you guys previously had a condition on the 50-foot buffer? There was talk of.
50-foot buffer is conservation.
No, but what the delineation fencing was, you guys had a proposal on it. Mr. Stetson was the one who proposed
Oh,
fencing there.
oh, yeah.
It's still vague in the plans, I got the plans earlier today. It just says concrete marker or
You were looking for fencing
similar.
against,
I was looking for screening of abutters.
Yes.
Which I believe we accomplished with the planting plan.
There was supposed to be a delineation
Could you-
marker, so
could
they
you-
never
Yeah,
went past
there's,
the 50
we have a
foot.
detail for delineation marker.
bunch of trees in here.
It says concrete pillar or slat fence or similar.
No, it's on your 1 of 1.
I'm sorry.
The landscape plan, this one. And it's in this area here where we're concerned.
Yeah.
So you're proposing, what kind of trees are those?
Arrowwood, viburnum.
Black chokecherry? And then this is existing landscape over here, treat over here.
Yes, this is the existing tree line. So we're just replanting and filling in the buffer zone with dense vegetation instead of putting a fence up.
Yeah.
I still rather see that as screening.
Pardon?
I still would rather see that as screening. The people in the houses shouldn't have to look at what's out back. They've had enough time.
Yeah, that's not providing.
So you're gonna wait 5 years for the plants to grow. Or more. At
My
least.
concern is that people will go past the 50-foot buffer and start clearing,
Well,
once they own the homes.
there's going to be permanent markers placed.
Correct, but that's only if you look at them and you're a good person and you don't go past it. A fence of some sort is a delineation, a permanent delineation.
The problem, and I'm not a conservation person, I believe the permanent, for lack of words, pipes that you put in the ground with little name tags on them, and
Markers.
fences can't serve the same thing.
They can't, you're saying?
Yeah, isn't it the pipes in the ground, they delineate the no-touch zone
Correct.
of the 50-foot.
Correct. The fence can't be in the 50-foot buffer. It has to be outside of it. And if you are going to put the markers there anyway and then put a fence in front of it, I feel like that's just a little bit redundant.
I would rather see the fencing behind it,
But then
at the lot lines.
you're saying back here,
Yes.
that's all wetland vegetation. You'd be disturbing wetlands. It'd be kind of counterintuitive in a way, because we're restoring the buffer zone to create the natural buffer that should be there. And then by introducing artificial structures into the buffer zone that we're trying to protect the natural environment, it's kind of like going back and forth. You're planting trees while you're having to cut them down to put the fence in.
There are no trees back there. Just an FYI, along the lot lines, our lots are very square. So-
Here you're saying?
Yeah, so that actually, the lot lines run directly through like the brook.
Yeah, here. This,
There aren't, there's very little, if any, trees you would encounter there. Because
Okay.
it is literally water.
And there's been a lot of destruction done on this site that probably has violated.
well, that's why anywhere where there's sparsity in the buffer zone, that's what our goal is, to restore it to its natural condition.
Yeah, he was just out there on Sunday, clearing water. So,
I will bite my tongue.
I don't have any evidence of that.
Well,
I don't know that.
maybe squawk on the property. That's one of the reasons why we're wanting the all fill checked,
Yeah,
because there have been a number of times when questionable
materials.
has been brought on site.
and I'll do it.
We think,
That's valid. That is
when
valid.
when you can play with your own little pond,
Yes. And that was what was out on Sunday.
this site has been under discussion for probably better part of 10 years.
Yeah, I've heard, even before this owner, it was a thing of contention, I believe, with the previous owner. I think they had a different set of plans.
No, he was the same owner.
Same
Same
owner.
guy,
Yeah,
every
About the
time.
Fourth fern.
yeah.
I just got brought into this a few weeks ago.
20
Yeah.
years.
My concern is that they'll continue to erode the vegetation. I mean, we've only owned the house since 2001, and he's knocked down closer to it. For reference, my house is that last.
This one?
Nope,
This-
keep going, nope, to the right, keep going, right there.
So
So that area that you're looking to rebuild,
this area.
yep, used to exist when we first moved in. Most of it.
So I
That
would
was
say
less
that
than
once
3 years
you,
ago.
once the boundary is permanently installed, if you, as a citizen, if you saw any destruction beyond the boundary that is now permanently installed and visible, you have the right to call for an enforcement order. But I don't see a reason why we have to put the fence in there, but I don't, if that's something the board wants to recommend, then obviously we're,
Well, we're looking to screen these people. and-
We have a 40B in town that they had to put up thousands of feet to screen,
of fencing.
of fencing, to screen. And there are some areas that not as much wetlands as this one.
I believe in the previous iteration too, there was a house here and they moved it away so that this area
No, the house was right there.
was up here. Okay.
And they moved it to the back.
If we put a fence here though, and you,
Really
and
tore it down.
if you
Oh,
live
no,
down
no,
here and
if
we
you
put a,
move the other one to the back, that's, that second lot on the bottom corner is where he moved the lot that was behind.
Oh, you'll move the lot. I thought you were
John's
talking
house.
about moving the house.
Oh, yeah, no, yes, they did, they did.
Well, originally, there
Just
was
a-
6 houses in the area of where we're talking, but the wetlands from the south over the years has infringed up
yeah.
north, and it's caused not enough space to put a house in that area anymore. But I do believe that one of the old plans showed a house kind of at the top of that bump. I believe
So if we're,
there was a house right where he's poking there,
yeah,
until the 40-foot buffer got moved up.
yeah, they
and the
redelineated.
Oh, they were
redelineated.
proposing a house.
There was a proposed
Okay.
house in there, but over the last few years, the wetlands has kind of encroached itself north more. It kind of made the availability of the property kind of take a house.
So if we're talking about putting fencing here, I'm not quite sure what that accomplishes as far as views from down here.
It's uphill. Just, if you look at the topographic map, where you were just pointing downhill, the back of my property is lower than where you're proposing, where your finger is right now. If you pull up the topographic map.
Yeah,
We're
you're
looking to
you're
go-
down here and you're looking up at this.
So our yards go from about 62 is the bottom where the brook is, up to my basement sits at 71. The top of my basement sits at 71.
Okay.
So you're proposing to go uphill on the cul-de-sac side to just over 70. So it will be a direct shot
Eye
from
level.
my backyard.
But we're
So
talking
that's
about
what-
fencing here, aren't we?
All,
Correct,
Yeah.
but it will block some of the stuff from our backyard views. So yes, I will still see it from my
I
house.
would like to see all abutters blocked due to past history.
Why don't we go back and sharpen your pencil, see what you can do. But also, I got a question here. In fact, I think it was you, Jim, that asked for the contours through into the
Yeah, the adjacent parcels. That was.
over here. And when you look at this plan, when you hand it to Jim, please. Come on. Yeah, look at 101. You've got contours, you don't have them labeled, but you've got contour lines. You've got a bump and a dip and everything in here.
Contours should go on to the other people's properties.
Yeah, well, it appears that he did here, but yet when we come back to the,
I think that,
Existing conditions.
I don't think those are contours, those are just the wetland symbols.
Yeah, that's just the
Yeah.
wetland
No, but
hatch.
the wetland symbols, but look at the ones that are twisting up and around, and it's the same symbols as over here. As
You said 101.
So 101 you want. One of one.
One of one.
The last page.
I remember Chris mentioned something about not being able to get the contours in that area, but
Yeah, because he didn't show them on C100, which you picked up on, that he did only just got to the property line. But when you look on there, those are contour lines.
yeah, they are nothing, yeah, there's nothing
Which-
labeled.
Which,
Where's the,
You're saying that on C100, they're not there?
on
Yeah, he just
C100,
trimmed the surface at the property line.
but we had asked him to carry through so we could see what happened, what effect it was, and how close to where the upland is. Now on here,
I'm happy to bring my building plans. We have the original building plans to the house that have all the topography on it, or the
We're happy to
septic
label
system
these.
plans.
We can label these
Okay.
for you.
but is that what, in fact, what they are?
Yes.
Because they show up on.
those are, yeah, on this, on the
on-
planning
on-
plan.
On one of one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
But-
they're,
but they're
They're
not
not
shown,
on this plan.
they're not shown on C100, which is the existing conditions.
Yeah.
I think he just trimmed that to make room for the text and make it neat.
No, this is what he originally brought in.
That's what I'm saying, but the information's there, it's just not being displayed.
We asked for the topography, which looks like he went out and did it here, but then it never got labeled. And it's kind of questionable what is going on there. Because you got a pretty good, although this is a 30 scale, but you got a pretty good slopes in there. And we don't know whether they're going up or down.
They're going up.
My transit from right here, I can't see it.
Let me rephrase that. They are not labeled,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We can label those for you though.
Okay, we want to see what's going on there.
So you want to extend it now to,
With that in mind, and see what you can do with coming up with some decent screening. Okay,
I mean, I have a serious problem with, lack of other words, the BS that the people have had to put up with looking at what's been done on that piece of property.
Yeah, and I don't think we're looking to cause any more,
Yeah, but the damage has been
Issues.
done.
um,
Damage has been done. They should not have to look at what's being done there other than maybe a shingle light.
Yeah,
Whether it,
those aren't trees, by the way, behind our property is on this side. They're all ferns and low shrubs.
so I guess what is the board looking for as far as,
unless you can find a rapidly growing plant that's gonna grow and be at 6 or 8 feet
so we're
when he starts his construction, or a fence.
talking like a 6-foot stockade fence, post and rail?
No, it's gonna be something that people in those yards can sit in their backyard and not look and see what's going.
Okay.
Unless there's a butter, and I don't think there's any abutters that don't want fence, so.
You could put a fence anywhere on my property.
This has been going on too long. And I'm sorry, I don't have any consideration for the property.
okay, is it any further, this discussion on this? Did we vote to accept these? We haven't.
No.
He's got to fill out the paper.
I have it right here if you want.
Okay, and sign it.
So the motion is to continue to the floor.
The motion is to accept his request to continue. He has to request it.
What he said.
Yes.
What he said.
No,
The request, motion to accept the request to continue.
okay, all right.
And I'll second whatever.
And I'll figure out how to pour it
Okay.
But
Any further discussion on the motion at hand? All those in favor? And I vote aye, so the vote is unanimous of the three present. Okay. Is he going to be back from vacation?
Chris will be back for the next meeting.
Okay.
So you get to yell at him?
What did you do to me?
No, this has been fun. I appreciate all of you.
Been there, done that.
Just so I can cover all my bases, we're gonna have to look into screening options. Continuing to the 4th, the homeowners association has to be submitted to the town. And then you guys had concerns about the water.
And I think Chris was here when we initially discussed that, so.
But the big things you guys are looking at right now is the cover over the water pipe and the 50-foot screening.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. We want to make sure that the water and the sewer coexist, because apparently, and we don't want to be giving, because we don't think that the water department would accept putting insulation on a pipe on brand new construction.
Okay.
And also the contours onto the abutting properties.
That was the other one. Thank you. Alright, I think
Great, thanks.
appreciate your time.
All I can say is, God bless you.
Jim.
At least it's a fun one. You threw me in on. Wouldn't have been any fun if I just showed up and you guys said okay and I had to go home. It's only an hour and a half
It won't
ride.
happen with us. We don't have fun meetings.
Is that
Do you
it?
sign this
We're
one?
all set?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you haven't said it yet.
Oh, all three of us need to
Yeah.
sign it.
Okay.
Jim, keep your eye on that.
Okay. I just got a text. Mr. Kinahan is not going to be making it into the meeting tonight. So we do not have a quorum. We need 4 for you. We thought it hopefully would be coming. So with that in mind, when was this submitted? We probably do need to request, Manny, for you to request an extension. And we'll make sure that he is, hopefully, we'll make sure we can get him in here.
We've gone back and forth with Pat Brennan a couple of times now, so we're, at this point, we've got 3 comments left from him, so I'm sure whenever we have the
Okay,
next meeting with you, we'll have a blessing from him.
okay,
Be in good shape to proceed.
all right. We can't act on it, but is there anything you wanted to bring before us? We can't act on it, but you get it, or anything to forward to Pat or anything with that?
We wanted to talk about 586, Mr. Chairman, if possible. The previous site plan approval you folks gave us back in March
Okay.
or April.
Yeah. Let us continue that one also.
Okay.
We've been doing some looking into it procedural wise.
All right. Oh,
So-
okay, I get what you're saying.
So,
On that one then, I'll switch gears and talking about 6:30, the one that was supposed to be before you tonight.
okay.
Uh,
And so you just sent stuff to Pat and everything looks good?
Yeah. So we don't really have any issues, with the proposal at all, with any of his comments. I think everything's good. We had conservation last night. They don't have any issues. They were just waiting for Pat to send his reply as well. So,
Do we open and just continue it, or do we just ask for a?
Actually, because they don't have have a quorum for it, all I can do is vote to continue it. That's the only,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
that's the only action I can take. But I just figured if it was here, if there's anything you wanted to say to, you know, kind of go ahead, but we can't act on anything. We can listen, but we can't.
I mean, I guess you could just tell them that we're just putting the building up and contract days. and
Yeah, exactly, we've just
Just
got,
kind of bring the board up to speed of what we're trying to achieve over there and.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same as 586, it's one building, parking around it, pavement wherever the engines are, and gravel where the empty trailers are gonna be. You know, the building's got the same setup as the other one, it's got the floor drain, the concrete containment area that we had talked about, I think it's 8-inch high curving, you know, just to store any oil or any type of hazardous materials inside the building.
Where's the building gonna be located? Is it gonna be down and back?
No, in the front, maybe 100, just behind the wetland, maybe 100 feet off of Manley Street.
Okay, in relation to the pavement and stuff you got there now,
Yeah.
more where you originally started? Where the original
Where the
trucks were
pavement
parked?
is.
You got right next to the solar farm?
Yes.
Right next to, yes.
Yep, right next to the long skinny solar farm,
Yeah.
right next to it, yes, yep. So it's the same thing, it's a same size building, you know, it's got the floor drains, it's got the double wall, oil water separator out in the backyard, you know, in the back of the building.
And
Same-
that's all, Mr. Brennan has all that?
Yes, yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
The whole intent of that is just to try to catch the 586 Manley Street doesn't have enough parking, it seems like, for their tenants. So the area that's not paved is to catch, it's a hope and a dream, but it's to catch their overflow trailers that we can rent out that facility, just park trailers, kind of like across the street from M&M. They have, I mean, they must have over 100 trailers there stacked up. So that's the whole intent, is hopefully they don't have enough parking right now to this big client that's potentially on the table, so we're just trying to hopefully catch that.
Okay. Have you got did you start the form? Could we get you to sign it to?
And then are you looking at the 21st, is that when you'll be voting on?
Yeah, there'll be the, yes, yeah, because we gotta get this out of the, yeah.
So it's, and then, and when you do the motion, it would be like, and to extend the decision to within 30 days of the close of the public hearing.
Move to extend the meeting and the hearing until the 21st.
And what's the waiting on the 30 days?
To within 30 days of the close of the public hearing.
To within 30 days of the close of the public hearing.
So moved.
Which one are we doing?
That's
Both,
easy.
or? We're voting to accept his request for an extension.
For which site, though?
6:30?
Yeah.
Actually, both of them.
Oh, these,
Didn't you want to put both on?
That's what I was wondering, if this is a vote for
The other
both
one
or.
was just for a discussion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't have
586.
any, yeah, we didn't have a formal filing, it was more of a discussion for a clarification, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
I think that's the word.
Amendment 2, if anything.
there you go.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Vote is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay, with that in mind, that takes care of our special permits and open public hearings.